Hello, friends. This is Sharon from Natural Awakenings magazine, and today I'm joined once again by our good friend, Dr. Julie Monica. And today we're going to talk about tea. January is National Tea Month, and I don't know about you, but I rely on my tea for a lot of the beneficial properties it delivers. So Dr. Julie is going to help us determine what's good, what's bad, what are our options? So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Julie, and please tell us more.
How are you, Sharon?
Happy New Year, doing well.
Happy New Year. Figured we'd start off with, as you say, January being National Tea Month, some perspectives on tea, okay? So, as we go along, like you, we love to drink our tea, but we have these questions floating around. How much caffeine is in this? How much tannins are in this? What does that even mean? What's the better tea and what are their good properties? So I thought I'd put it in some kind of order and kind of report on the teas and the most popular ones that we do intake, okay? And that would be what? Herbal teas, that would be green tea and black tea. So they do have functional aspects. And the one thing I'm going to say right off the bat is tea is wonderful because it's nice to drink something that adds to our health instead of detracting from it. Mm-hmm. And we all know what detracts, okay? And there's so many times that it's available to us and we go there. We can change this around, and tea is a big factor right there. So let me start in with doing the comparisons, as I said. Like I said, I'm going to talk about very much the caffeine content, and I'm going to talk about tannins in relation to tea. Let's start with herbal tea. So herbal tea, and ironically enough, is not a tea. What herbal tea is, it's an infusion of leaves, seeds, and roots. It's not typically a tea, but it's brewed in such a way it acts and walks like a tea, so it's referred to as a tea. What I love about them is, I said caffeine, and in herbal teas, none. Tannins, none. So you have a caffeine-free, beautiful tea-like substance that, now what's the caveat here? What's the good part? As you guys probably know, there are plethora of different types of herbal teas out there, colors and smells and tastes. They're so varied that they really are a beautiful thing. Hot or cold, delicious. Let me tell you some of the teas that are popular, that some of the medicinal qualities, and that's the point. We're taking herbs and seeds just like we do to make a vitamin, and we're making a tea. So passion flower tea is traditionally used to relieve anxiety and improve sleep. And studies have begun to truly support these uses, really true double-blinded studies. As well, we have some other types of tea that are worth mentioning that have a medicinal, if you will, quality. And that would be, let's see, what do we have? Lemon balm tea helps improve arterial elasticity. And rosehip tea contains over 500 milligrams per 8-ounce cup of vitamin C. So let's stop here for a second. 500 milligrams. What's the RDA, the recommended daily allowance for vitamin C for a human? That is 50 max. Okay, so it's 50 milligrams, and an 8-ounce cup of that tea, of the rosehip teas, we're getting 500. I would say that is a functional tea. It has a great property. So it also has an appreciable amount of vitamin C and anti-inflammatory qualities. So you can look up almost any one of those teas. Go.
So I have, like I said, I'm a big tea drinker. I have a rose hip and cinnamon that is supposed to be great for my skin.
In anti-inflammatory, it's going to be good for so many different types of issues, and not only issues, but to promote good skin, to promote things. So it's endless what the uses are. And also it's fun because I have people coming in, well, what else can I drink, doc, besides coffee? Let's try herbal tea. And I can give it to no tannins. So if somebody has other kinds of primarily gut issues, stomach issues, even esophageal issues with reflux, they're not getting the caffeine and they're not getting the tannins, which can be a little irritating, both of them. So I like that's my go-to. So I'm telling you that now. And I just read some of the properties and some of the types of teas. And you can just for fun go ahead and Google different types of teas. And most all of them have some type of quality that is health enhancing. Okay, let's jump down to green teas. Okay, so green tea, caffeine, okay, has 30 to 50 milligrams per 8 ounces, okay, which is about half of an equal amount of coffee. So that's a good thing. It has tannins, okay, it has some, not a lot. And tannins are not a bad thing, by the way, okay. So what green tea does have in comparison to the herbals or even to a black tea is it's the most powerful in its content in polyphenols and antioxidants. And as we know, we've heard green tea is so good. It is. It's good. It's called the cancer fighting tea, if you will, and it does have the quality that it is functionally a cell healer. That's what it does. With the tannins are really cell healers, and the properties in the tea are very, very, like they say, they call it the anti-cancer tea. So it's a wonderful thing. Let me stop here before I forget and tell you how I mix it. So since it does have a little caffeine, I try to drink 1 cup of tea a day, green tea. Then I just, whatever in my cupboard, what I have that's herbal, I'll pull out. I must have 4 at a time, and I pull it out, and I drink tea for the rest of the day. So that's how I do it. So I don't overload on the caffeine. And by the way, understand the reason I'm drinking this tea, not that I appreciably have to worry about this, but some people have to understand green tea is so powerful. Consistent use can cause an impact on BP and other types of medications. So be mindful of that. It's very powerful. And they'll ask you that, or many times they should ask you that, if you're drinking tea up to a cup every single day. It's strong stuff. So be mindful if you're on meds.
I also want to interject there because, and I shared this with you before we started filming, I don't have any issues with green tea. I can drink green tea, no problem. And I was in a meeting one day and they offered me some herbal tea and I was like, oh, yeah, great, green tea would be fantastic. Within 5 minutes of drinking the tea, I was like, oh my God, I think that was black tea because black tea makes me vomit. And so you have to be very careful, like what's really in the tea that you're drinking. Even some of the herbal teas, if you look at the packaging, it says, oh, lemon flavor. It's not actually lemon tea, it's lemon flavored tea. So reading your ingredients is really important.
Absolutely. And hopefully that lemon flavor isn't something that is offensive or toxic or chemical oriented.
Right.
Let me say something else about that you told the story a little different. In teas, if other people, and I've had that actually with green tea, I've had a little bit of that, and you're bringing it to the forefront for me to think about it. You have to understand the effect of polyphenols in a sense of it being the antioxidant quality. It is so pure. And in teas, remember, they're infusions of different things, but they are infusions. And you're dealing with a something that changes with the production, the growth, the phase that it was cut, how it was produced, how it was preserved. So when we drink a tea like that and it affects our stomach sometimes and we get that, oh my, that feeling, sometimes we're not used to the heavy antioxidant quality. And that's really big with wheatgrass shots. You hear people say they can't tolerate it. Do you ever hear that? Because think about it. It's as green can be. It's one of the things that has the most antioxidant qualities, polyphenol qualities, if you will. And they talk about being able to tolerate it. So that all goes in the same family. And it's really almost a good thing that it's having that effect. And eventually you would get used to it. But it has to do with the good things in the tea some of the time. So you have to know where it's coming from. Because I know that I can do 1 shot of the wheatgrass and I have to think about the next shot if I'm going to do 2. So yes, again, we're just talking about all good stuff that is part of tea. Lastly, let's move to black tea, okay? So black tea is made from Camellia sinensis, like green tea and all other teas, but is fermented and is blended with other plant leaves. It is known for its strong flavors and tannins. It has the most. Caffeine, it has the most. Um, as a matter of fact, it has consistently 48 milligrams or more per 8 ounces. So the green tea can fluctuate, but minimum in a black tea is always 48 milligrams per 8 ounces. So you have to watch that if you're really drinking tea, not to drink caffeine in relation to the fact that you were maybe drinking coffee.
Mm.
So it has something called theoflavins. Theoflavins is a type, again, it fits all into this polyphenol antioxidant family that is being researched for cardiovascular impact. And again, this is truly being seriously researched. Again, any of this stuff you could plug into your search box and go ahead and find out about it, because they truly are wonderful things that have all, like I said, all kinds of qualities. Tannins, what are they? Are they bad? No. The way I can describe to you a tannin, and again, as we were saying, it's either in the green tea and as well as in the black tea, it gives you that pucker sensation. It's not necessarily sour, it's certainly not salty, but it's puckerish. And it gives you that that kind of taste where it's like, oh, there's something in that tea. Is that good for me? It almost makes you feel dried out, if you will. But what's happening is it has that strong, it has those strong tannins in it. And those are actually good things. They're not bad. So other types of foods that contain tannins, anything with a sharp color. As I said, the infusion of a black tea and the green teas are all with leaves and types of things that are going to give us color from the plant world, as well as pomegranates, berries, nuts, and cocoa has a lot of tannins in it.
Mm.
So we're talking about good things. The only thing is, I believe they can be a little drying, and they certainly feel drying on the tongue. So that's what you're feeling is the tannin quality.
Mm.
We are, something else I want to say. It's great here in the Northeast to jump on tea for our winter here. And I love it because I had, my approach was to say at the beginning when I was writing notes, hey, you know, this is something that we all want to upgrade our health and our immune system, all of us right now at this time. And this is a really good way to do it. But let's also not forget the summer. I used to live in Arizona, and big thing. And it wasn't like a nuance or pop. It was like everyone did it. And that was sun tea. And I noticed it's come around even into the Northeast in the summertime to put your tea out there and to do sun tea. But nothing's better than a herbal tea, because you're going to get these colors and you're going to get these flavors, and you're going to get hibiscus, or you can do lemons, and you can do all these things, as well as you can cut up your lemons, you can
Mm.
cut up your mint, you can cut up your basil even, and put that into your tea. And boy, you can get a beautiful beverage over ice. So don't abandon tea in the summer. So yeah, so that's kind of the short and the long of it. I hope you all go out and think about this. If you want to ask questions, you can ask them. I'll try to get back to you certainly. And tea as being part of your repertoire, good move.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I used to drink coffee all day long. When I worked in Manhattan, it was coffee, coffee, coffee. And it got to the point where I was like, this is affecting my behavior, my response to situations. And that's when I transformed away from coffee and started drinking chamomile tea. And those became chamomile tea and peppermint tea became my go-tos at work. Like late in the afternoon, if I needed a pick-me-up, I'd have some peppermint tea. Early in the day, if I was like, okay, it's a little stressful, I don't want to go for a coffee, let me have a chamomile tea. And it just helped so much. And now you can pick so many different kinds of tea to support whatever it is that you're trying to help with. And I love the licorice teas
Oh yeah.
and the peppermint teas and the ginger tea. So I'm a huge tea fan, and I love everything that you're sharing with us.
Peppermint tea, as you know, has a quality to settle the stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and it can. I've actually had it when I felt that way, and I just love to experiment, even with myself. I say, you know, let me grab this, and I have to tell you, I have to share this too. I think this is huge. All these places that we go, that we drive through, that we might people, not us, right? Get a donut at those places, you can get a tea. And
Right.
you and many times peppermint specifically, lemon tea, instead of the coffee, get the tea. I'm going to mention Starbucks. One of the best peppermint teas I ever had was at Starbucks. It was strong. It was pepperminty.
Mm,
And you know what? Everybody else got coffee. I got my tea, a big one. They served it to me. They've got them. So just be aware of that, because I think that we have habits of where we go and maybe who we go with, but you can break your habit of what you order. And we just don't think that these places have them, and they do.
true, true. I had that recently as well. And one more question though. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of honey to my tea. Am I losing the properties that are valuable in the honey if I put it into the tea when it's too hot?
No, you are not. The thing is, though, Sharon, I'm always coming from a metabolic standpoint to watch our sugar. Now, if you have a big, nice cup of tea, okay, or more, and you put in a little bit of honey, which goes a long way, you're going to be okay most of the time. Anybody who wants to quantify the amount of sugar that they're having, just look up your teaspoon or your tablespoon of honey and just see if that fits in your repertoire. You want to keep it low, of course, so we can all check out how that's going to affect us and if we want that. But again, let me say, the thing about herbal teas, they're so wonderfully flavored that sometimes we can forego that.
Right, right. Okay, just wanted. It was something that I heard that my honey would lose its benefits, and
Oh, the honey. I thought you meant the tea. Well, the honey, you know what? I have to say, I'm not sure about that if you heat up the honey that much. Right, because honey has all of these also qualities, health qualities as well. So that would be something I would want to get back to you on.
okay, fantastic. Well, this was a very, very excellent overview of tea, especially for tea month. Are there any last thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Just that, like I said, my go-to for my patients is my first choice is the herbal tea, because there's so many different varieties, and my little regime, I think, is good. I think that the green tea is so powerful that to try to even get in a cup a day, which I end up 4 to 5 cups a week, is just so helpful. And then around that, I'll drink I even drink cold tea at this time of year because I want something to drink. I want to mix it up. I put it over ice. That's a nice little combination that really, I think, would propel a lot of people's health forward.
I agree, 100%. Drink more tea.
Drink more tea, exactly.
Well, thank you, Dr. Julie. It's always a pleasure to see you, and you teach us so much every time we chat. So we really appreciate it. And again, Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Sharon.